This conference will now be recorded.
There we go.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the Public Works meeting of June 7th, 2022 to order at 5 p.m. My name is Ken Boyce, and I'm the 6th District Councilman and Chairman of the Public Works Committee. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. I'll take a motion to approve the May 2nd meeting minutes.
So moved, Bill O'Brien.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 3 is the report of the Public Works Director. Renee has emailed out an extensive report to us ahead of time.
I didn't make that much.
That's awesome.
Supposed to be the first page.
Just to help facilitate the meeting, as always, does anybody have any questions for Renee?
Well, that was the most comprehensive report we've ever received. I loved it.
I do too. I like
We'll
all
get
this.
used to it.
Renee, what's the latest on Longbrook? Any plans to get that started? The tennis courts?
We're waiting for Classic Turf. They've got the final designs in their hands, and they have some other work that they are involved in right now, so they haven't had a chance to review it to let us know what comes off and what, as far as cost, what credit we get. So we're waiting on that, and then scheduling it. They haven't let us know their schedule yet.
I just had a question if Bill's done on the school vandalism, Renee. You know that I emailed you about that, and I know that it's still ongoing. Is it still ongoing or chronic?
They ripped a sink off in the bathroom at Worcester and one in Flood to the point where the pipe was just spewing water all over the place. That happened, I'm losing track, yesterday or today. I think Worcester was yesterday, Flood was today. So yes, it's still ongoing. It's still extensive. Pretty soon, I think we should just let them have porta-johns.
So is that,
Really?
that's the question, like what are we supposed to do about this? Just keep repairing it, or?
Apparently so. I've been trying to get, I think we need to sit down with the superintendent. Personally, I think we need to figure out, do they know who's doing this? Can we send the parents a bill?
So we've discussed this at our Board of Ed liaison meetings, and I have another one coming up on June 15th. So I know that I asked you for an estimate of the cost as best you can, and it's just something to help me start with him, maybe to come up with a plan.
Yeah, like I said, the problem is we didn't keep track of how long it takes us, or the labor, because we just do the work, or the cost of each item of vandalism. But I gotta say, we're getting up in the tens of thousands of dollars now. If you would add labor and materials, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
And Renee, is this coming out of the town side or is it coming out of the Board of Ed side? The repairs?
It comes out of the Board of Ed side, but it's one checkbook at the end of the day. The taxpayers are paying for this because we give the Board of Ed their money. So at the end of the day, all the taxpayers are absorbing the cost of all this vandalism being done by the kids.
Okay, so I want to see where this is in their Board of Ed budget, because there's no line item for vandalism in their budget.
There is no vandalism line item in the Board of Ed budget. What you see is in the operating budget or the capital plan. So the operating budget has in building maintenance a line item that says building supplies, town has its own line item, and then BOE has its own line item. And then under the capital plan, you'll see last year, I think I forget, usually it's 135,000. I thought we increased it last year, and I know this year, in this year's capital plan, I think we're asking for $200,000 because of the cost of materials, but that's where we pay for a lot of it from. But the labor you're paying for out of the payroll line item in the general operating budget. The overtime, if they get called in, or if it extends beyond working hours. And then the straight time comes out of the payroll, the operating budget, general fund side.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah, and I'm more than willing to sit down and brainstorm how we can try and make somebody accountable for this, because until we do, this is going to continue. There's
Yeah,
no
well,
remedy.
I think Laura's on the right track of bringing it up at Board of Ed liaison. So it's the council and the Board of Ed, trying to come up with ways and, and obviously Renee, you should be involved in that conversation also, obviously.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you'll see in the next building needs meeting, the work orders are increasing again, and it's because we are focused on vandalism and, we can't get other things done. So it's a snowball effect.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Renee? Renee, I have a quick one. Just that email I sent you the other day about that catch basin at Stratford High. Did you see that?
I did see that, and I haven't had a chance to talk to John Casey. I know Tom Albert kind of commented on it a bit, and we weren't sure what, whose responsibility that is at this point. But I haven't had a chance to even look at it. I was at the golf tournament yesterday and trying to get the grad school banners on the brackets today.
Yeah, good job.
475 grad pictures that I and my staff, my superintendents personally put on the brackets, and then we send the guys out to put them on the lamppost. So it's kind of time consuming.
Mhm.
John, do you have any thoughts on that?
So I sent the plan to Tom just so you could see where the piping is. There's no pipes on the catch basin on that side of the catch basin where that sinkhole is. So, I think we have to look in the catch basin and see if there's a crack in the catch basin, or if there's some way the water's getting in the catch basin, taking soil with it. If that's not the case, it probably was improperly compacted in the first place, and then it just settled over time. So I did send your email to Chris Fields also so he could look at it. But at this time, we haven't decided what to do with it.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much, Renee. Next item is the report of the town engineer, which John has also emailed out to us ahead of time to help expedite the meeting. John, you have some action items first?
No action items today, so just to report, I did send attached in a separate email the copies of the plans at Bunnell for the parking lot warm water storage. So there's two plans. One is the north parking lot where we plan to install some catch basins and collect the water coming off the north parking lot, and then have it drain to the grass area to the right of the parking lot, to the east of it. In that area, we'd have a little depressed area of grass that would collect the water and have it infiltrate into the ground. And then the second plan is for the lower parking lot. Before you get to Weaver Drive, there would be two locations where we would have underground storage underneath the parking lot. And the two catch basins that are currently at the parking lot would collect the water and pipe into the underground storage areas. And then, we would these are designed to collect a ½ inch of water of the area that's going into it. And that would qualify it to become classified as disconnected, which is a definition in the MS4 permit that we're trying to reduce our connected area. So if we disconnect this, it reduces our connected area, our impervious areas that are connected to our storm drains by definition. So we'll be working toward making our goal for completing. Our goal is 2% of all of the directly connected area, impervious areas in the whole town. So that's a huge amount of disconnection, but we're starting with this basically.
Hey, you have to start somewhere, right? John, this might be a dumb question, but I've learned in all my years that there's no such thing as a dumb question. But this work on those catch basins and the water and everything is going to be done in conjunction with the paving of that parking lot this summer?
The plan is to do it before the parking lot's paved. However, we are a little behind schedule. So I have to talk to Tom and Renee about plans for that parking lot project.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's gonna make it this summer. It's late in the game for even the paving companies. They're kind of already lined up, with just doing roads right now. I'm not sure we would make it in time by the time we put out, John's piece to go out to bid and get everything back. I don't see us making it this summer, which is not a horrible thing. With the solar and whatnot finishing up, for scheduling purposes, it wouldn't be a bad thing to wait till next summer. And with the cost of asphalt, maybe it'll come down by then.
So if that's the case, we would plan to bid this out probably in August and have a contract on board for the fall. They would be doing also work at the Baldwin Center at the Perry House for the same type of work. So they could do that, and then they could do the north parking lot in the fall and come back in the spring and do the south parking lot, and then the town could come in and pave in the summer. So if there's no other questions.
Any other highlights from your report, John?
Just on the Stratford Avenue roundabout project at Honey Spot Road. We are pushing back on some of the DOT comments that we received. They're kind of going back to square one a little bit. So we need to respond to DOT, and part of that response, or one of their comments, was to prepare a task 310 environmental plan, which would be dealing with environmental contaminated soils that we'd be excavating during the course of the work. We have to have a management plan for dealing with that. So that would be something that we've asked the consultant to give us a proposal to do that plan. And I'll get that to you next month. And then we can design that plan and put it into our response for the DOT response to comments, so we can finalize the plan. And hopefully then we can also proceed with the right-of-way taking that we need to implement the project. So that's where we are in that project. I can run through the other ones, but I can tell you Old Spring Road is nearly complete. So that project's been successful so far. We are waiting for the material supplies for the bar rack to put on the face of it. So as soon as that comes in, they will install it, and then the road will get paved shortly thereafter. So we think in 1 or 2 weeks we'll have that wrapped up, and then we'll plant our plantings, and we are thinking maybe holding off on plantings until the fall, depending on how hot it gets, make sure they survive. But other than that, the road will be back open probably in a couple weeks.
Nice.
So the others are pretty much status quo. I mean, I reported on any updates, but nothing major.
Does anybody have any questions for John?
I just have a question on the Honey Spot Road project. Do they know there's toxins there, or is this just in case there's toxins there? And like, what kind of toxins would that be? Would that be like something stemming from Raymark, or would it be from the businesses that are there already?
No, it's not Raymark. It's just, that's an older section of town. It had old businesses, it had old gas stations in the past. And we did do reconnaissance phase, and then we did some environmental testing. And of course, you know, no matter where you dig, you're going to hit something. So we do have to have a management plan to handle it. And that includes, that plan will include when we excavate, we have to then store that soil somewhere and have it retested. And if it's clean, we don't have to dispose of it, you know, in one way, but if it's dirty, then we have to dispose of it in another way. So we need a staging area to conduct all that operation. So we have to try to find out where that'll happen, and then I'll be part of the plan.
Okay.
Hey, Ken, going back to the Bunnell parking lot for a minute, how is that area going down to the baseball field? Is that still bad?
No, that little stopgap measure that Renee had her people do is holding up, is diverting the water. Everybody was looking forward to getting that paved. But I guess that'll have to wait another year also as part of that whole project, right, Renee? Or can we have them come in when they're doing roads?
No, that would have to be a separate project. It may not, it wouldn't be probably it wouldn't be the same vendor that does the roads. That's Tilcon, and they've already come in and measured and accepted the work.
So would it be possible, is there money somewhere in school paving or anywhere in your budget that baseball hill could get done this summer?
We can look into that. I think I can find the funds to do it. It's just finding somebody who can do it. I don't know what the cost is going to be, and if it has to go out to bid, it's a small job, and might cost us more for people to come in and just do that small piece when they'd rather do the whole big piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only issue. It's a really small piece in the project.
Yeah, no, I understand. And the other thing I was wondering about was last year when they did Worcester, unbeknownst to me, the basketball courts got removed from getting repaved. Can we get those tennis courts re-asphalted?
That would have to be a separate project in the capital plan. It's more expensive than you think, actually. And the parking lots, the way things get divided up, the basketball courts are parks, and they would have proposed that project, or that falls under their project. Parking lots is strictly highway, and that's all they do is kind of focus on the parking lots and sidewalks and walkways. That's kind of their thing. But for the tennis courts, it would have to be its own separate project, and it is quite expensive depending on how bad the condition of the surface is.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. And I think, the longer we wait, the cost goes up and up, right?
Yeah, I mean, just look at Lordship. We kind of spec'd out. It's about 120,000 Lordship school basketball courts,
Wow.
which are in pretty bad shape as well. It's unfortunate. Things just settle and it just cracks. And when that happens, it's almost like you rip it all up and start from scratch, especially if you're not doing post tension. But if you switch to post tension, obviously it's way more expensive, but it'll last for a lot more years.
Yeah.
It's the one half a dozen of the other at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what Bill and I talk about all the time with parks, the same.
It's a double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
I mean, in the long range, you save money, but it's the upfront cost that kills us.
It is, and as you look in your capital plan, you'll see we kind of proposed a pretty big project at Johnson to do the floors on the inside of the school, have it all abated, and that kind of ate up what we kind of allotted mostly for the schools besides, boiler work and, absolute necessity work. That ate up, it's going to be 1.6 million to do Johnson floors, which are desperately needed.
Yeah. So what was the other basketball courts at Lordship, you said?
Lordship, yep.
All right. Are the Lordship ones in CIP or not?
They are in the CIP book that you have. They are in there. They've been pushing this for some years. It's been on, it's been off, it's gotten pushed out. It's been back and forth for a while now.
Yeah.
We did their parking lots not too long ago, and the courts, again, they're two separate projects, so they were not included in it.
All righty. Any other questions? Okay, our next regular meeting, again, will be on a Tuesday because July 4th is a Monday. So our next meeting is Tuesday, July 5th. If it's back in person, I will not be here. If it's virtual, I will try my best to be here. If you know for sure that you cannot make it either way, please, as always, let Aileen know so that we're not scrunching for a quorum at the last second. Item the sixth, last item on the agenda is new business. Does anybody have any new business?
I just have a quick question. I don't know if it's new business or whatever, but as a person who attends the soccer games at Worcester, from the brand new parking lot in the back, when you walk down the hill to get to the fields, the back fields. It's all eroded away, and there's a whole bunch of like small rocks and rubble, and it seems like it's dangerous where people are gonna maybe roll an ankle trying to get down that little hill. I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that, or if anybody else has kind of seen that spot.
I do agree that that's very dangerous because people, for years that I've been doing it, that's how everyone gets to the fields. Little kids, seniors, everybody. There should be some kind of step system there, in my
Either
opinion.
step system, or even like for a short
Right.
term, just dump some dirt on there and maybe try to get something planted real quick. But
Did that hill get paved last summer?
there's no paving on it. It's under the tree and the grass isn't growing. So
There's
Are you
no,
Are you talking about the hill that leads from the side of the school down to the grass?
yeah, yes,
Where the ice cream truck parks.
yeah,
Right, and that hill didn't get paved last summer?
no.
No, you're thinking of the wrong place, Ken. They're talking over by the big parking lot, which would be the east side.
Mm.
Okay, I was talking about
Yeah.
that big hill, the big hill near the basketball side.
Yeah,
No,
that
not
got
the
done.
basketball side. This is the back of the school where the kids, the Sterling House soccer games are.
Right. So there's steps. Are there steps there?
There's steps if you walk around through the road, like go right exactly, but it's not where the people park. The big parking lot is where everyone just walks down the hill, and I think from people walking down the hill all the time, they've contributed to, you know, the erosion that's occurred. And then every time it rains, there's no grass growing, there's no plants growing because people walk there all the time. So now it's all full of rocks.
Well, it's a tripping hazard with the tree
Yeah.
roots as well. The tree roots are also kind of the only thing holding that dirt on the hill.
Right.
But it's a tripping hazard. It is just an accident waiting to happen, for sure.
Well, it is, and then like kids can throw the rocks, they throw the rocks, and then people slip on the rocks, and it's a steep enough hill to where, you know, I'm careful going down it for sure.
I'll have to look into it. I've not been over there to see that.
Yeah.
Or you put a big arrow saying use the stairs.
Use
Right.
this, then you'd have to walk down the road where, you know, cars are, it's a regular narrow road. And of course, nobody's going to drag all their chairs and whatnot that far. But
Oh, I know. I've been on that field for more soccer games than I care to remember.
it's just, I wanted to just bring it up in case it's an area that of concern that maybe we can avoid an accident somehow.
Well, I'm sure Renee and John can put it on their list and look at some
Get
solutions.
right on that.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much, everybody. We are adjourned at 5:23.